guys, this is Adam with ND72 and welcome to the channel. So today what we're going to be doing, we're going to be working on the E55 as you can see in the background over there. It's not exactly in the garage, just because I have the depth card over here. We're doing some work on that too. But this video, what we're going to be doing is something that I don't think anyone's done. It's not something that super everyone has to do or doesn't have to do. So as you know with my E55, it's got a 77mm fixed pulley. It's got an ice tank in the back. It's got the FabTech heat exchanger up front, and that's kind of like the cooling. It's a split cooling system. So one thing I kind of have a little bit of issue with is when I go to the track, I could turn my pump on, and then the water's just circulating. I got no way to actually, no air is going across the heat exchanger while I'm at the track, just sitting in the staging lanes or moving up, or even just in traffic. You just sit there and just getting heat soaked, more or less. So this was kind of an issue that I was having. So my way around that was to either just get the big heat exchanger like I do in the Death Cart, and then put a big, or like I do in the SLK32 and put a big fan on it if I wanted to. I could do that, but I just like the look of the FabTech, how it's just right up in the bumper, and I think it looks cool. So the other idea was getting two small fans to put there. But then yet again, it defeats the purpose of it looking cool. So the idea I had, which I don't think anyone's done this, which if they did, put more pictures up down in the comments. Tell me if they've done it. I just haven't seen it yet. So I don't want to say I'm the first one to do it, but probably other people did it. So my other issue with putting another secondary heat exchanger, that was my other option, a secondary heat exchanger from VRP up front. Easily could have done that. That would have been behind the grill. It would have been, I could have put a fan on it, would have solved it. They go for like $210 shipped. I don't know, maybe it would cost with a fan like $300 roughly, and I could do that. So the only reason I'm not going that route, I'm going to go the route I'm about to show you is, the reason I'm doing it is because you put all that extra weight up on the nose of the car. Okay, these cars are known to like have a little bit of spin because they have a lot of horsepower, so I want all my weight in the rear. So why don't I just put a heat exchanger in the trunk? So that's what I'm going to do. So what I purchased was a universal heat exchanger. So what this is, it comes up to be 14 inches, boom boom, by 12. So it's a 12-inch core, so 12 by 12 core, and then 14 inches, or an extra inch for the intake. Comes with a radiator cap, which that's neither here nor there. It comes with a series of little brackets that are there, and it goes to the MPT fittings. So what I got a series of fittings to put on there. So we're going to throw this in the trunk, and then put a 12-inch fan that I could have on running the whole time, or on a switch if I really want to. That way this puts all the weight in the rear of the car where I kind of want the weight for my situation, and I still get the same idea of it. So let's go look at my setup now, and I'm going to give you a brief of what we're going to be doing. Alright, so here's my tank setup right now. It's got a Royal 2000 pump. This tank is quite a bit of years old. It is from PNR. Not the biggest fan of the tank. I had leaking from the cap. Now I have leaking from over here where I got to add more silicone. I had leaking over there. So a little bit issues there, so we might add the more silicone and seal this up over here. So what my plan is, so right now I got the tank on this side, so this is the majority of the weight, which is the driver's side. Not a big fan of that. So we're going to see if I can do it. I'm going to take the tank and flip it and put it on this side, and then put the heat exchanger on this side. We're going to give you a mock-up of kind of what it would look like if I put it on this side, though. So the reason I went with this side, because it fits almost perfectly in my little hole over here. So I got to build like a little frame and all that stuff. But the idea of this heat exchanger is it's going to take water that's coming in from the supercharger over here, cool it down, then go back in the tank. So the water returning to the supercharger, or returning to the tank, is going to be even colder. So when it shoots back out, we should be all good. So that's my plan right now. My biggest thing is I want to move this side, this from here. I just want to flip it around. We're going to see how easy that is. It should be easy enough to do. So my situation was very easy. Undo the electrical connections, undo the ground, undo the hoses. So I marked my blue tape so I know which one goes bottom and top. These are really easy to undo and come out. And now we're going to try to spin it. Alright, first issue I'm having is when I put the box down, the box lays over the hole for the hoses to go in. So I'm probably going to have to re-drill a hole, maybe like over here or something. But that's not that bad of an issue. So we're going to keep going. Hopefully get it. So, in theory, this is what it's going to kind of look like. So the tank fits perfectly over there. I just got a little styrofoam cooler that I use for when I go race. So this, if I could build it properly, will line up right to there, and all I have to do is just get another, I'll have another fitting like that, or something like that, and then it'll just shoot water right in there. And then it'll come from over there and come into here. So it'll come into here and shoot into there. And then I'm probably going to have the fan either on the bottom of this or on the top of this. It shouldn't really matter that much. And I got plenty of tabs on each side. So I'm either going to build a frame like one side over here, or one over here, one over here. It should be pretty good. Also, why I bought this one cool thing, it's got plugs for temperature sensors. So right there, it's all plugged up right now. But if I ever wanted to get a temperature sensor, I could put one in there. It's got a drain over there, which with this configuration, that's kind of pointless. But I think this will work. I just got to do a lot more like drilling and remount this, add another hole to the tank, to the floor of the car. So like this, I'll probably add the hole, I don't know, somewhere like right around here so it could just come up and go over here. Also, what I might get a 90. So then that hose could just like shoot right down there. I'm kind of liking that. We'll see if the store has one or not. But I think this will work pretty good. And just to say it again, I don't know if anyone else already done a style like this. I haven't seen it. I don't know if this is even going to work that well. But I want to try it, and it wasn't that much money. I think the heat exchanger cost me like, it was $169 plus shipping. So I think it was like $15 ships, which was cheap. And the fan was like $25 off Amazon next day. And I'll put all the links below. The people who I bought the heat exchanger from was from Frozen Boost. And I told them I needed it within a day. They did overnight shipping, which wasn't that much more. And they got it, and I'm super happy with it so far. So we'll see if it leaks or pisses or anything like that. Because for me, it was a pretty inexpensive heat exchanger. And I was able to get it like next day. So we're going to keep going at it. Hopefully it works. Alright, so to mount it, I'm going to do a rudimentary box. For each side is just a bracket so I could drill holes in it. This is not the best way probably to do it, and probably not the lightest way, but it's just I got some scrap metal around and we're going to start cutting and going. So we got my little square, we got it all cleaned up and prepped. So now we're going to start laying a couple beads down, tack it all in. Looks pretty good. Seems pretty straight. Do some double checking measurements. 9.5. 7. Ooh. 9.5. Yep. Square to the T. So we got both of them all squared up and welded up. The welds aren't that bad, you know, if you can see in the camera focus. I mean, I've done better, I've done worse, and this is without, like, I didn't really clean it all up yet. But I think they're okay. They'll hold. So we're going to start drilling our holes and start mounting it. I think it'll come out good. Alright, so the table's a little bit messy, but basically what I did is I installed the fan onto here with basically the generic clips that it comes with, and I trimmed them. And then I started to get the wiring to it. So all I really did was extend the ones that it came with. Now, when people say, you got two reds, I 100% know that. I don't know it this way which one's going to be ground and which one's going to be power because I don't have it all set up and wired up in the car yet. So I just made them like this so I can install it because when I put it in, the fan's going to be on the bottom. And this is a lot easier to do all outside of the trunk. So we knocked this out. So we got those parts over and paint now, the whole frames. So we're going to grab those, install it, see how it looks. Alright, I'm going to say, so far, I like it. This is really effing sturdy right now with those brackets. Granted, the floor is plastic, but I put some pretty big washers on the bottom. It should hold the tank for multiple years. So we're going to start remounting this tank since I switched it over here now. And then we'll start wiring everything up. But I'm super happy with it right now, how it's going to look. And if I did my measurements right, which I can tell you right now I did not, as I just realized I was about to saying it. I was going to say I could still put the factory cover back on, but I cannot. Because of this that I just now noticed. Well, poop in my pants. So I might have to drill a little hole. I don't have to see what I'll have to do with this. Maybe a different style plug that doesn't protrude so high. But bollocks. Alright, let's just keep going. Alright, this is basically set up. I still got to vacuum it up and clean it all up. But I got the fan wired up, so both grounds over there, the wires are basically tucked in. So once I put the covers, like this cover back on, you'll never see it. And then I wired the fan in kind of the same way. I just added a circuit to it. So this all should come on with key on. So let's go test it. And if I... Alright. So we're coming over, it's going to do position 1. That's what I want everything to come on, because I want to use the less power. Yep. We got fan blowing, and we got pump going. So let's see how much this pump is pumping with all this extra. Not bad. I don't know, anyone else tell me if anyone's got any better flow? I just got the Royal 2000 pump, and that's it. But it seems like it's shooting out pretty good going through everything. So yeah, if anyone else, tell me if they get a little bit better flow. So my setup is basically, it's going from trunk all the way forward to a heat exchanger, you know what I mean, to an intercooler, to all that stuff. And then it comes all the way back to a secondary heat exchanger, and then goes in the box. And it's just Royal 2000. So I might need to get a bigger pump now, and I added more pushing area that it has to go through. But we'll see, or I'll just add a secondary pump up to the front, which I know a lot of people do that. Usually do the in-tank pump, and then one up by the front. One push and one pull, kind of more or less. Kind of. One will push it up to the front, the other one will push it back. So I might do that. We'll see how everything goes. But right now we're going to fill it up, and we're going to flush this heat exchanger out a lot. So I'm going to, just in case there's any debris in there, I'm going to start running it through even more. And we're going to see how it goes. So far, very happy. So also, a few benefits of how I wired it up is right now I got it on position 1, all my pumps and fans turn on. So in theory, I'm gonna have to actually test how long it'll go before I kind of kill the battery. My theory is when I go to a drag strip or something like that and you're in the staging lanes or you're just like sitting there waiting, you can put on position 1, which should run the less electronics in the car, so you drain the battery less. But if I find out that this can't, like when I did it in my SLK like this, the SLK will run for about an hour and 15 minutes before I get any battery issues by just running a Royal pump. So now with a Royal pump and a fan, and this is the E55, so it's more electronics, I'll have to see how long it could actually last. But also, if it craps out really quickly, I could literally at the drag strip go there and move it from, like, I'm just going to give generic fuses. Just say from fuse slot 8, that's power with key, to all-time power, and I just go to like one of them that's 20 or whatever it is. I'll also have to make a note of it, and then it'll just run these 2 accessories, and it'll probably last a lot longer. So that's another big benefit of it. So now we're going to go to little disadvantages, what I find out right now. I'll show you. Disadvantage 1. This is a little kinked right here. I just have this a little bit higher than that, which is my effed up. I might shim this and just bring it up to take that kinked out. Not that big of a deal. The other thing which I thought was going to be a disadvantage, I thought this was going to be too loud and you would hear it in the car. So let's shut that off. Just everything running, me outside. You don't even hear the fan, you hear the exhaust. And if you hop in the back seat, and this is with the microphone pointed to the back. If you listen really closely, you could hear a little bit of a humming. But it's really not that bad. So even with the window down, you could hear the pump a little bit and the fan, but not too bad. So very happy. Let's get out. Hot. One other thing I might mess around with, right now I got this fan blowing, so it shoots air up. Because my theory was you had the most room down here to suck in air. So I might try it with it sucking up and pulling down. So my idea, if I flip it, or actually it would work either way. So even if well, I'm going to see which one works better. So I'm also thinking about drilling a little hole. So like a hole like this size, just right under there, so it could suck in fresh air. Also, that way, I'm not super good with science, but I think I'll pressurize the trunk, constantly having that running with no way to come out. But one thing I do know, there are vents down there for air to actually come out of this trunk. So, we'll see. Right now, I'm going to leave it how it is, because I'm super happy with it. Oh, another thing I wish I did, just to make it a little bit cooler, it probably would have been cool if I could have got some black bolts and black hardware, and just, like, blacked everything out, like a black radiator, black tank. That, I think, would actually be pretty cool. But that's a lot of work for not too much. Oh, and another thing I got to do. So this should be the last disadvantage of my whole setup, but this is all me. So my previous rear cover, I cut a cool hole in it, so that way I could see my tank from when I'm driving, or not when I'm driving, but when I pop up the trunk, it's like a whole display. But I moved the tank from driver's side to passenger side. Now I got a huge hole, and it's useless. So now I got to look for another, like rear, I can't even think what they're called. I guess it's like trunk mat. So I need to find another used trunk mat, maybe somewhere. I'll just search the junkyards, or I'll contact a couple people. Ooh, actually I think I know one person who might have one, and he has a totaled E55, which I don't even think I need an E55 one. Because if I could get that back, I think that will make it look so clean in the back of it. Because if you look right now, all my wires are tucked. So if I just put that mat in the back, and then here's the center latch. So all I have to do is just cut a hole for this, and then cut a hole for that. And then it'd be pretty cool. Granted, I'm only going to have trunk face from back there, but if you know anything about the E-classes, that's still a huge amount of trunk space for groceries. And I'll probably just get one of those little, like, mesh, like, I don't even know what they call it. The little mesh, they got little hooks for them right there. So I would just hook a little mesh piece going right there, and then all my groceries and stuff would stay in the back. But I'm super happy with it. I'm going to let it run for like an hour and stuff like that, make sure there's no leaks, but so far, pretty good. So guys, I hope you liked the video of my E55 secondary rear-mounted heat exchanger and tank loop to the other side. So like I said before, there should be so many benefits to this, and I don't know if anyone else tried it. If they did, hey, tell me. I'm not really trying to reinvent the wheel. I just thought it would be kind of a different, cool idea. So the benefit of putting the secondary heat exchanger in the rear, first of all, I put more weight in the rear. Big benefit instead of putting the weight up front. I then move the tank from driver to passenger, put more weight over that side tire, because when I drive, I won't be over there. Other benefit, but anyone could have really done that. So now, like I said before, what people are probably going to say in the comments, I could have just went with a big, huge heat exchanger right up front, like I have on my SLK. 100%. Those work extremely well. They work better than just this single one in the bottom, okay? I will agree with you. VTEC makes them. I think DTK makes them. My only, like I said before, I just like the way a big one up in the front of the grill looks. Like, I'll show you right now. Like, I just think that looks so cool and mean. Just, and when you do the ones, like, I'll show you my SLK. Let's go for an adventure. Everything's pulled out because I'm messing with this little area right here. So if you look at my SLK one, it has a huge front mount, but it's not even pushed that far out. So if you look at it, you don't even see it. Like, it would have been cooler if it came out like 4 or 5 inches, but you don't even see it. And this one's like, this works great, this whole system. And this is literally, if you see it, goes from here all the way down to there. So it's huge, but you just don't see it. It doesn't look as cool, so meh. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you guys hit that like, comment, subscribe if you haven't, share it with your friends. If you got any comments like you think I shouldn't have done this or this, just throw a comment down below. And if you guys want to support the channel and not really spend any money, literally just watch my ads. That gets me a couple like nickels and dimes here and there. And it costs you literally nothing. Just hit on your computer and just let it play. But if you're also going to contact me or follow me on Instagram, it's BuffyCLK500. And I'll catch you guys later.